Timbr Media is brought to you by The Jerky Outlet, Michigan's ultimate stop for premium protein-packed fuel. Whether you're gearing up for a long hunt or kicking back at camp, their incredible selection of domestic and wild game options will keep you going strong. With multiple locations across East Michigan and nationwide shipping at thejerkyoutlet.com, you're never far from the best jerky around. So before your next hunt, stock up at The Jerky Outlet because the great outdoors deserves great jerky. That's thejerkyoutlet.com. Welcome to the Shooting the Shit podcast, where we take you behind the sights and into the wild. From the thrill of the hunt to the lessons we've learned in the field, we're here to share our stories, tips, and the answers to the burning questions every hunter wants to know. That being said, let's gear up and dive in.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Shooting the Shit podcast. I'm here with GVSU man today.
GVS, yeah, I guess I am repping the brand.
You're repping the brand, and I guess...
Last week of school, guys.
I guess that's what I was going to say. Last week of school. So, no, I'm Evan. This is Derek, as always. Today, what are we diving into? Talk to me.
We're going to talk about some new Michigan DNR changes and regulations and laws and rumored things, kind of diving into our thoughts on what's kind of the good, the bad, the ugly.
All of that.
Just talking about some new stuff. There's a lot of questions I feel like that come up, and you get your DNR registration book, 3 months late. It's still just so vague, and it's really hard to understand anything. So we're just going to be talking about some major changes and maybe upcoming changes that, kind of took our eye, I guess.
Yeah. I guess, well, before we get going, you know what else I was thinking about, before we even started the podcast?
What? The
people that are watching, this will be our third video, right?
Yeah. Yep.
This is also my third haircut since we started.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
You're having an identity crisis.
Oh, well, I think we're finally settled. So.
Yeah, well, you're losing real estate up there. So I hope so.
But, yeah, I guess let's dive into it. So where do you want to start? What do you...
I guess, well, it's kind of just start with, I don't want to say the elephant in the room because nobody knows what we're going to be talking about. But
I guess if you know about what's the current news with the DNR, yeah. I'd say you're familiar.
So the DNR, especially here in Michigan, are catching a lot of slack right now for their choice of not relocating. They used to relocate, but their choice of controlling the population problem in Michigan. They've actually decided to, instead of relocate the birds, on what? Oh, yeah, Canadian geese.
Yeah.
Canadian geese. So I know back a while ago, Canadian geese used to be, endangered here in Michigan, believe it or not.
It had to be so long ago.
It was a while ago. It was in, the 1900s.
Yeah.
But, late 1900s. But, yeah, they were harder to find. But now they've repopulated. They're overpopulated. They're everywhere. People hate them because they crap all over boat decks and lawns and roads and... It's disgusting, right?
Yeah, you go out. My grandparents used to live on this lake, and, we would love to go fish on it, but you couldn't even walk around the thing without just goose shit all over the place.
Yeah, it's horrible. I know, back where we used to watch fireworks in Bay City is right on, the Saginaw River there, and, you couldn't walk down that sidewalk without, staring at the ground to make sure you didn't step in a landmine every 3 seconds.
So, I guess I get the nuisance, but...
Yeah, so, that's one thing, and... With the overpopulation, that's become a lot of spread of bird flu has kind of come about, and that's hurting the waterfowl populations, even ducks, cranes, everything like that.
Right.
So they do carry disease, and obviously the more of them you have in one spot, the more they spread. But it's their choice of dealing with that problem that people are upset about. So
it's pretty brutal.
Yeah. So
to be completely honest,
they used to just net them, cage them, and relocate them somewhere way more vast, way less, what should I say, industrialized maybe?
Yeah, residential.
Yeah, so less populated human areas.
Right.
And let them go, but they've stopped doing that they're going to be stopping doing that as of June. They're going to be instead netting them and then putting them in gas chambers and killing them via carbon dioxide poisoning.
Oh, it's so sick. It's a hard thing to say that our state is doing this. And are other states involved in this, or is it just a Michigan thing? I didn't look
too much into it. I know we're one of the only ones, if anyone else does it.
It just seems like such a terrible thing. It's just, there's so many other options,
like,
and
I understand, like, they spread disease. There's a problem.
right.
But it's not solved by gassing them. And I mean, I'll go into a little bit of what's even more kind of twisted about it. But like, so geese, they're waterfowl, right?
Exactly.
They dive for plants and food and stuff like that. They can hold their breath a long time. So this carbon dioxide isn't like a boom. It takes like 7 to 8 minutes for them to die.
Just sitting in there.
It's suffer.
Yeah, it's not a quick kill. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, it's suffocating to death. And a real nasty process.
Such a brutal way to take. And it's, I don't know. I feel like as a waterfowl hunter, me and you both, you have a more special connection to the birds. Like, you kind of respect them a little more.
Yeah, and you hate to see them get thrown into gas chambers and killed. Especially for, like, we spend a lot of time and money. I mean, we start podcasts and businesses based around hunting. And I mean, we have such a passion for the animals and love for the animals, and to see all that get kind of thrown in the trash by the people we're supposed to be listening to and giving this license money to,
right?
It's kind of like a stab in the back.
It puts a bad taste in your mouth,
absolutely, and it's rough. And they're like, it's starting to get like big news. Like Emma was talking about it. There's a billboard. I haven't seen it yet. It's on 96 somewhere that tells everyone to call the governor of Michigan, and it's got like a phone number there that I'm sure like goes to the Capitol.
Right.
And tells them to complain, because it is kind of like a horrible thing. And I know I've heard the Greenway Outdoors, I think his name's Kyle.
Yeah.
He had a big like press like news live news feed of them asking him about it and his views on it. And he's kind of on the same boat as us. It's like, when we go out there, we're limited to 3 shells in our gun. We're limited to 4 or 5 birds a day.
Right.
We only get these certain days to do it, but the DNR is going to go out there any day they want and kill thousands of them via
with
gas.
A net and gas.
I can't even use, obviously I understand lead shot is for polluting the earth, not the animals. But like, we have all these regulations we have to follow to be ethical, and then they're going to go in there and do this the most unethical way possible, honestly.
Yeah, I feel it. I don't know. I mean, I just don't think that the geese should be killed like that. But if that is like their final solution, I mean, what would be a more ethical way in your eyes? What do you think? I mean, just shooting them? Like,
it's hard to say, because I have a hard time not leaning towards extending hunting seasons, extending bag limits.
I think the bag limit's the biggest thing for me. When I look at like what they're doing with the geese, and if they're all that overpopulated, which, don't get me wrong, I fully agree they are. We'll be sitting at our spot and we'll see hundreds of geese just flying over us. I mean, none within any reach of a shot.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they are everywhere, but I don't think it's a bad thing, especially like, I'm sure for some old lady who's just trying to enjoy her retirement on her little, what, I don't even know, like, what do they call them, like little housing departments where they have like the big like ponds in the middle,
like modular home,
whatever,
something like that.
But like, I'm sure it sucks to have a goose in your backyard sitting on a nest that is just mean to your grandkids out there.
Right.
And I understand that, and it ends up people don't want to like coexist with them. Mm-hmm. They shine laser pointers at them and throw rocks at them, and obviously that's unethical, but I don't know. And they talk about it online, saying it's a last resort, like this is their last thing they've tried. But I guess I haven't been waterfowl hunting long enough, but I don't think they've tried any different regulations to waterfowl hunting the geese themselves.
No, it's just so tough, and it's like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I think it's going to catch a lot more backlash as, like, well, once they really start pursuing it, once they really start getting into it.
And what's going to be really hard is people, I mean, there's going to be pictures. I mean, they have, I didn't even bring that up. They have no way of processing or using any of the meat. The meat is going to be bad. Yeah,
it's going to get put into a landfill.
Yeah, they're going to pile them into a landfill, and they're just going to sit there and decompose. Like, beyond wasteful, right? Like, if I go shoot a geese and leave it lay in the woods, I could be put in handcuffs.
Right.
But they're going to do it by the hundreds and just throw them in a landfill?
That's unreal.
I don't know. Hard to believe. And I don't know. I wish I was an expert on these things. And obviously, I'm sure there are experts, and that's why they make these decisions. but I've seen so much about this one, and it's catching a lot of hate.
It's a lot of people are slowly gaining more and more attention onto it, and I don't know. If you're a Michigan waterfowl hunter, you definitely know about what's going on. And it's just one of those things where, in our minds, there's better ways to deal with the issue. You can increase bag limits. You can extend seasons. You can, there's a number of ways where you can change this problem without having to torture these animals.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know. Maybe we'll see something change. I know they haven't done it yet, but I mean, there's been trials of it where they've done it.
Yeah.
To see how it works, and that's where you get like the 7-8 minute kill times, which in my eyes should be deemed impossible.
Right.
Like 8 minutes of suffering is hard to believe that they can make legal. But it did get like officially completely passed, signed, like it's gonna happen in June. It's gonna start happening. Like, it's guaranteed. It's not a maybe. It's going to happen.
That's deep, man. That's dark stuff.
It is. It's a hard thing to think about, especially because, like, I don't know. We've put so much time into trying to hunt and, like, learn these birds. And
I know. Just figuring out, like, how to get a goose in, where they want to land, trying water, field, just really doing whatever we can.
Think of the bands, dude.
I know. That's
like
crazy.
All the geese that are going to be killed in gas chambers that have bands on them. And that could be like a historical, life-changing moment for any young hunter.
And then that band is going to rot away in a landfill.
Yeah, they're going to throw it away or something. It doesn't matter anything to them.
Wow.
Throw it on another baby to be killed in next year.
That's so crazy, dude. Yeah, I can't even.
I don't know. It gets me heated up.
Yeah.
But what can you do? I mean, best you can do is go buy your hunting license and hope they use that money towards good and not towards carbon dioxide.
I mean, I think the other thing you're going to see a lot of people paying money to this year is going to be that corn fee for the deer.
Oh, yeah. All right, as if that was ever not happening.
Exactly. That's kind of my whole thing, and we've talked about it on our own, is like you're just making all the people who have illegally baited, just making it legal for them.
I don't even think it's that. So I think you have a small percentage of private land hunters that don't bait because it's illegal, right? They're good, honest people about it. But I think you have a very large percentage of private land hunters that do bait, and they baited illegally.
Yeah.
And now they haven't been caught in their whole lives.
So why change?
Why are they going to pay $15 this year to do it?
I guess to give a little context, because we kind of jumped over that, they changed the law this year where, is it a $15 or a $20?
15.
So it's a $15 fee that you can pay, and you can put out a bait pile on private land. So if you're a private landowner, you can pay the DNR $15, and you can legally bait your private land. It's a bait permit
you get at like any of your normal licensed distributors. It allows you to bait for deer and elk. Counts for elk as well.
Really?
Yeah.
A Michigan elk you can bait for now.
Yep.
How? That's just such an elusive animal in our state that we're so lucky to even be able to say we have.
All of them are going to get baited and killed, which I'm not saying, and that's kind of what I was getting back at. I'm not saying that's not already happening. I'm 1,000% sure it is.
I'm sure it's happening, but I think that the elk should be one of the most protected animals in our state. Yeah. That's just how I feel. I think an elk is one of the most gorgeous horned animals that we have and that we're lucky enough to have, and it's just such a small population. I mean, there's 3 counties in Michigan that have a good chance.
Population. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say, and there's more of them in the UP. I mean, there's more elk in Michigan than people think, but it's no out west state. It's nothing crazy. For a Michigan resident, it takes 30 years to draw a tag, but we are in a position where we can draw a tag. Right. Some states are just locked down, but we have so few of them, you can't kill them.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, we do have that pleasure that you can enter.
You can go hunt one.
But for people to be able to go out and just put out a bait pile and smoke an elk on their private land now, it's just like...
And I'm like I said, I'm sure people did it, but I guess kind of to get back on track, I've only known you for however long, but I've been hunting my whole life, and it's only been on really public land.
Right.
And I think this is just kind of like a kick in the balls to any public land hunter, because... not only is private hunting land outrageously expensive to buy per acre.
Right.
Now the people that own it can bait on it and take all the deer away from public lands where they don't want to be because there's A, no bait, and B, they're less safe.
Right.
So I like, especially up at our cabin, like I've just noticed so much as baiting increases, the deer populations decrease.
Right, because the land you're hunting up there is all surrounded by private, right? More or less.
I don't know. Up there, it's a lot of public, and that's why we do see a lot of like does and stuff. But the reason that I can't go up there and kill an 8-point every year is because they don't grow there. They don't want to be there. Bucks are a little bit less herdy. They'd rather just go where the food is, and then when the rut's on, the rut's on.
Right.
Like, they'll go anywhere when rut's on.
You got to be watching for the rut up there, but it's like you got guys around there who have been baiting for, I don't know, 40 years since I've had that property. It's been in their whole family bloodline. And
they've done it every year, and they've never caught any slack, any consequences. They've always got what they wanted. And now you're going to make it legal for them to do it, and it's going to cost them $15. And maybe some of them buy it, but there's going to be more of those people that were like, I don't want to do it for the risk of it being illegal, that are like, okay, now I'll throw my $15 in. So you're just taking the already big private land baiting problem and just making it bigger.
Right.
And I mean, it's a money grab. It's a money grab. The DNR, it's a problem they couldn't control, so they found out how they're going to profit off of it. And like, I don't want to get political, but like, when I think of what the DNR do and me paying a license fee, I think of that going to the animal, right?
Right.
I think every law and regulation should be to conserve the animals, not the hunters.
I mean, yeah, you're looking at when I pay my license, I'm looking at conserving the land for the animal and making sure that they have proper area where they can flourish.
Yeah, habitat. It's about the animals, not me. It's not me being out there going and able to kill it. That's a privilege. But it's those animals' rights to live in us to make it better for them.
Right.
Right.
I mean, you look at like the pheasants. I did a little research on it. Like, they're really kind of trying to make land for pheasants.
Yeah,
they're not making a ton of progress, and it's kind of one of those back burner things since the Michigan pheasant population went down.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they are. It's an effort. They're working on it.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. And like, I got a couple things on here that I'm going to talk about. The DNR are doing good, right? I don't want people to go out and think I'm bashing the DNR. I'm not. They do great things. They keep everyone in check.
Yeah.
You know, without them, populations would be horrendous.
It would be all over the place. Bad. We wouldn't be able to hunt in our state anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't want to think they're bashing. I just, obviously, people disagree to agree with some things.
Right.
And I mean, people are very excited about the private land baiting permits, except for the people that don't have private land.
And
it just makes it worse for us.
And it gets harder and harder to get that private land every day.
So, kind of to get at what I was getting at earlier, how does paying the DNR $15 to bait help the population? Because when you have a huge pile of sugar beets or corn or whatever you're going to have, and you have now 50 deer coming to your property, CWD is going to spread way faster. EHD is going to spread way faster. Ticks, I mean, all that stuff is just going to spread. When you get more deer to the same area, things spread, things don't go well. So it's just hard to believe it was going towards the animals.
Especially when they're all eating off that same pile. I did like a whole project on that for one of my classes last year. Is like deer feeding off of the same food pile is one of the biggest factors to spreading CWD. It's food and water sources that spread it the worst, and it spreads through like liquid. So like if they're drooling on those sugar beets, getting all fired up,
it doesn't care what sugar beet it eats from. The next one's gonna eat out of the same one.
Exactly. And then that deer has it, and then it goes to a different. I don't know. It spreads like wildfire, and
CWD is gonna spread. I just and maybe it is hard to say because I'm biased. I don't have private land, right? I'm sure, and I don't want to say I'm sure because I'd like to say I'm an honest man. But like if I had 100 acres of private land last year that I wasn't baiting on, I couldn't sit here and tell you that I wouldn't buy a $15 baiting permit, right? Because I'd have a whole different perspective on it.
Right.
I do see the point of paying your money and being able to do it legally because you think it's going towards a good cause, right? It's going to help these deer come to my property. It's going to help their habitat.
It's going to help. I can see how people want it to help population as well. Gives you a chance to help clear up that herd, get those numbers more.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, except for every private land owner isn't killing a doe.
They aren't worried about the doe.
They want to just get more bucks
trophy on their wall,
Which, I mean, that's my next topic. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. Who doesn't want that giant trophy buck? But it's like...
Me.
I know.
Like, I do, but... I don't know. In my opinion, my father shot a beautiful buck this year. It was, I mean, obviously everyone wants to shoot the big buck.
Yeah.
But that guy paid like $750 to get that thing thrown on his wall, dude. I don't got that type of money laying around. If I shot a big buck right now, I'd have to just watch it rot and cry. Like, which sucks.
I
but
don't
like,
know.
I would just like, I guess the past couple of years as I've gotten more into hunting, I never thought about a trophy buck as much as I thought about it would be super cool to go out there and kill 10 does and donate a bunch of the meat to the people, like at work and stuff like that. I just feel like that'd be so much more rewarding than hanging something on your wall. Obviously, at some point, I'm gonna hang something on my wall, and I'm cool with it being any time. But I'll never be upset to kill does.
No, absolutely not. I'm all for taking a doe, taking a few does. That with us, the meat's never gonna go to waste.
Oh God,
we're gonna find a way to get that meat out there.
Churches take it.
We love venison ourselves. It's like the meat's never the problem. It's just that I don't know. A lot of people aren't interested in taking out 10 doe anymore.
Yeah,
and aren't they increasing that too, where you can just buy doe tag? Like, is it still?
No, it's still gonna be 10 doe tag. The max amount of deer you can kill in Michigan every year is 12. 2 bucks. Well, 1 buck, 11, 1 kill tag, 1 restricted tag, and 10 doe tags.
Gotcha.
That is the most you can buy. So it's a $2 state, and honestly, I've hunted a long time now, and I can't tell you 2 nice shooter bucks I've seen in a tree stand. my whole hunting career.
Yeah.
I've never filled a combo tag. I've never used a restricted license.
I mean, yeah, so, I shot my first deer this year. It's like so cool. That was super sweet.
But yeah. So I guess I'm biased, but I don't think the public land, private land baiting thing is. I just think it's gonna feed into a problem that's just kind of a money draw. Yeah. But I mean, kind of to keep talking about like the doe problem though. One thing that was kind of cool to see this year was the late doe season. Yeah. That was a cool thing to see. They did open up, I believe was it archery only? Archery only. Yeah, archery only, urban areas, January 1st through the 31st. It gave us a whole nother month to hunt does, antlerless only. Right. So, but I mean, that's huge, especially you think about how big of a doe problem Michigan has. Efforts like that is going to get, at least a couple more deer killed, and you made the licenses cheaper, so it's more incentivizing for people to go out there and do it. Obviously it's freaking freezing cold, so
right, you got to be dedicated to get out there.
If 10 does are killed in that month, which obviously a lot more of them were killed that month, but that's one less deer that's going to total a car. That's one less deer that's going to get a disease and die over the winter and spread it to its offspring. So I mean, that's how I look at it. I guess it's a good thing to get more does out and make it to where these people that just want to hunt their bucks, get them out of the picture. Right. Just get the people that want to feed their family, feed their community. Let them go out there and have an extra month.
I mean, 90% of the people that are going out there with their buck on a chalkboard ready to go that they want to take out, they're getting it done, November 15th. Right?
Yeah, day of. They already know. They already have their buck patterned. Everything's figured out.
Exactly.
It's just getting in the blind and drinking your coffee and watching the game until it shows up.
Yeah.
So, to me, that's not hunting.
No, that's not hunting at all. You're just waiting for. I mean, I don't know. It's basically a pet at that point. Is what it turns into.
And I'll never bash anyone's game because we all love the same sport. But I guess there's levels to it, man.
There's a difference between going out and sitting in a tree stand, freezing your butt off when it's like -4 out, and sitting in your heated blind with your blue jeans on and your crossbow. Yeah.
And I'll never bash a crossbow because I think those are great opportunities. I've hunted with a crossbow.
Oh, speak for yourself. I absolutely will.
Yeah, absolutely. It gets you in the woods, man. Some people don't have the dedication and time to go out there and get good with the compound bow. Me personally, I'll never put down the compound bow now that I've used it. It was way better. I can sit here and say I've done both. Mm-hmm. Compound bow was 10 times better. I'll never put it down.
I don't know. I have such a hard time with crossbows because with us working at Cabela's, you were in archery for so long. I've been in archery. It's just so many people who are, getting into hunting or have been hunting and get lazy, and they'll just come in and drop however much they want on a crossbow.
God, and it's so hard too because I had a guy, I was sitting in archery, I think yesterday or maybe the day before, I don't remember. but he had a question about ravens and wanted to
Mm-hmm.
know what our best raven was. And I was like, it's the R29 right now. Like, they might have the 500 series coming out soon. I'm not too sure. I haven't been here in a
Right.
while. No, I know 10 Point just came out with their new ones. I'm honestly not too sure, but I know the 29X is probably the best one we got right now.
Yep.
And he goes, oh, yeah, dude, they make these things to shoot out to 200 yards. And, like, how am I, as, like, a person that's going to, like, try to help you outfit you with a bow, how am I supposed to tell you, like, absolutely not? Don't you dare shoot that thing out to 200 yards.
A crossbow should not be shot farther than you would shoot with your compound. That's how I believe it.
50, 60 yards.
60 yards. Because are you going to take a 200-yard shot with your compound bow?
Absolutely
your
not.
Your bow is barely going to poke out that far.
I get there faster and I get all that, but, like, at the same time, there's just so much margin for error when you're using a rifle versus a bow.
It's just, oh, man.
I
don't know. I think that crossbow has just made it too easy for people to go out in those earlier bow seasons, and I don't know. I think that a lot of people who are dedicated to compound bow hunting now have so much more competition with these people who get a crossbow and just want to go out there and kill something.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think crossbows are a great thing, because I think there's a lot of guys out there who I don't know. I have one guy that has come in and he's had multiple shoulder surgeries, just physically cannot pull back a compound.
Deserves it.
And I
Get
think
in the woods,
that is what a crossbow is made for. Is for people who just physically can't pull back that compound anymore.
That would have been a sick podcast name.
What?
Get your hunt on.
Get your hunt on.
Some things you think about after.
Things you think about. But I don't know. I just think that there's a community for the crossbows. I don't think that they should be for everybody. Yeah. I just don't think they should be that common.
And, you know, a lot of states are that way. Like, you go out to Iowa, you can't use a crossbow unless you're over a certain age or you're disabled.
Handicapped, yeah.
So I'm not saying I disagree with Michigan's crossbow regulations, because, like, and I don't want to say it's like because my whole family uses crossbows.
Right.
But that's the only, I wouldn't even call it cheating for them. You know, they're going out there, they're hanging their own tree stands every year.
They're putting in the work for the deer, and I have a lot of respect for people who are putting in the work to get the deer there, to find their spot, to do what it takes.
They don't have the $3,000 ravens that do all the crazy stuff.
Right.
They take clean, ethical shots. It's just, and like, especially like my grandfather will always have the utmost respect for me in this category. I mean, he hunted with his compound bow until the very day he couldn't.
He couldn't pull it back.
I mean, that
feel ethical with it.
Yeah,
right?
Like that is, I mean, that is how it should be.
Absolutely.
And it's just kind of because he's had so much passion for that sport outside of hunting.
Right.
Like, you have archery, you have hunting. He had so much passion with both of them combined that, like, he didn't want to drop one. Where it's just like people that want to just get out and hunt, that's their main focus. Crossbow's not a bad gig. I mean, It's always better to go out and hunt. I'd rather always just see people hunting.
I want to see people hunt, but I also would like them to be, educated and,
Dude, try it. Because I tell you what, right now, like I said, I've done both. The compound bow is so much better. Maybe it's me kind of like being from what I was talking about, how I was just so in love with hunting, to kind of broadening to that archery, and now I'm just so in love with archery too that they just kind of fuse together.
Right.
Maybe that's what it is, but
I just feel like you get so much more reward from a compound.
Yeah.
That's how I see it as, because with the crossbow you're pulling a trigger, and
it's a gun.
It's a gun. And I don't know. And so I think that a compound, you have to work with that bow. You have to tune it. You have to make sure that that bow is fit for you. But a crossbow, you can go buy it off the shelf and take it out hunting that same day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess moral of the story, like, if you're gonna go out and buy a crossbow, like, don't be afraid to use it. Don't feel like you're any less of a hunter because you use a crossbow. Right. I mean, I'd always rather just see people hunting. It's completely up to you on what you use and your personal preference. If you don't want to spend that much time getting good with a compound bow, you just don't care about it, more power to you. It's a totally different sport. Like, I don't care. I don't care what caliber of gun you use. I don't care what you do there.
Right.
So, I mean, get out and hunt, I guess, is the biggest thing. I had a few more things to talk about, but we're running out of time, so maybe we can wrap this into like a part 2.
Yeah, we could probably tie this into a part 2. We can toss that into it'd be a good episode for next week. We got some more topics we want to run over.
We spun a little bit off track, but I mean, we didn't get to some of the better things I was talking about. I talked about the late season, but biggest thing I was trying to convey is, like, the DNR does things we disagree with, but they also I mean, they fund and they make miracles happen for the wildlife we want to hunt.
For sure. And I guess that's kind of the whole thing is we don't want it to seem like we're just bashing the DNR.
Yeah.
But, I think that some changes need to be made. There's probably also some stuff we just fully don't understand.
Yeah.
But as hunters in Michigan, it's just kind of one of those things you got to deal with. It's not going to change.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, and yeah, sometimes things are needed to make things better, make populations better, make habitat better.
Right.
And sometimes they're not what we want to hear.
Right.
But, you live and you learn. You got to trust the professionals. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into it. All right. But as like a little wrap up here, hopefully this coming week, Easter Sunday, that following week, we're going to try to get more into a schedule of posting a lot more per week.
Right.
Like we talked about at the beginning of this episode, it's our last week of school, so we're going to have a lot more free time on our hands. We do have the Archery 3D League starting up at the end of, what did I say, May. So that'll be starting up here soon. So we're going to do some nice videos of us sighting in our bows, making sure they're ready for 3D. We got some arrow videos.
Maybe going out tomorrow if it ends up being a nice day.
Hopefully it's supposed to rain all day.
We'll see how it goes. But
working on some sick photos. Well, we're gonna be working on some sick photos of our shirts.
Yeah,
Did
shirts
get those
are here.
done.
I don't think we've said that yet because the shirts
Really?
weren't done for the last episode. We talked
They
about
weren't?
them. No.
Oh no, that was the day before we left.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
we talked about them, but shirts are officially here. We have all sizes from small to 2X, and we have
Should have worn them.
Yeah, we should have worn them. I didn't even
Missed
really think
opportunity.
about it. But we have shirts for days. If you would like to pick one up, send us an email, send us a message on Facebook, Instagram,
Text us,
wherever you guys can contact us. Send us that message.
We deliver.
We can ship it to you. We can hand deliver it to you. We can
$10
drop it off at your door.
flat rate.
Yep.
All this money is going to be put back into maybe more shirts, more merch, giveaway stuff. We're going to just keep trying to build this to be as great as possible for anyone that takes their time out of the day to listen and watch us. And
we want to put out the best content for the people and just show them everything we can do with it. So
absolutely so. But we do appreciate you guys listening to this week's podcast. Make sure you check out all of our other social medias, as well as the third YouTube video going up probably tomorrow morning. A little bit after the Spotify, but I'm sure by that time most people will be watching the YouTube video.
Yep.
So we appreciate you guys taking the time out of the day to watch this or listen to this, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you, everybody.